All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, whom this world ignorantly calls God. All right, Bahasham, which means in the name of Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus, in the Rakakwadash. All right, so we're going to cover hypocrisy. All right, so a hypocrite is a person given to hypocrisy, one who plays a part, especially one who, for the purpose of winning approbation or favor, puts on a fair outside seeming, one who feigns to be other and better than he is, a false pretender to virtue or piety, one who simulates virtue or piety, a person who professes beliefs and opinions that he or she does not hold in order to conceal his or her real feelings or motives. All right, so we see this a lot, in culture. You have people professing to be things that they are not. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They have outward appearance of piety, you know, and favor and virtue, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. All right, so there's many characters that we're gonna encounter in this existence, and that we have encountered this in this existence, that mirror those traits. Okay, we see it all the time. One such character would be this character by the name of Charlie Kirk, and I had to do another video on this because there's something that I happened to overlook. Actually, I didn't overlook it, but I wanted to take some time and kind of let everything subside a little bit. But here's the story. It says Fresno State lecturer Barry Brennan was placed on leave after a video circulated of her making a quote-unquote disturbing comment about Charlie Kirk's unaliving. The university condemned the remarks and canceled her class. Other institutions are also investigating similar comments by staff. So you have the administration going after other people who may have made comments. So your First Amendment right to free speech is now being trampled upon, right, for the hypocrisy of the current administration, which supposedly swears by the Bible, which supposedly are Christians, right? But they are indeed wolves in sheep's clothing. If you look at their actions, you mean to tell me that someone can't say certain things now, because you feel like that person is a quote unquote hero, you know? I don't know very much about this man, but what I do know is that he was very vocal about his far right ideologies and how he felt about Israelite people. And when I say Israelite people, I mean the true Israelite people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are indeed, in truth, Israelites. The Bible proves it, right? So, with that being said, we'll get into some precepts. But first, I want to show you some images that came out of Charlie Kirk's his campaigns that he was doing for the MAGA base. So I'll just put it like that, right? Because I saw some things, and this is why I'm coming back to this subject. Normally I don't like to dwell on things like this, but I saw some things that would point out the hypocrisy. So bear with me here. Let me get these images uploaded for you. Let's see. All right, so here you see, it says "Prove me wrong" on his banner up there, right? He's got, you see he's holding on to his MAGA hats or whatever, and this is the day of the event, right? So you notice, up there by the "Prove me wrong," there's a lightning bolt, and so that may not stick out to many people that don't know what that is symbolic of, but to me, I like to study, so I like to pay attention to what's happening around me, and I pay attention to those symbols, because symbology will let you know who's who, right? And so they try to sneak it in there in a very subtle manner, very subtle manner, as to where you wouldn't barely notice it. But if you are aware of the symbology and what it implies, then you're gonna have a keen eye to see what's being conveyed as far as their message is concerned. Now I want you to also notice this eagle here. See that little golden eagle? That golden eagle is representative or symbolic of the United States of America, their rulership, as is the Washington Monument, which is an Egyptian styled obelisk, right? Which is ultimately a gravestone for their, hero or forefather, George Washington. All right. So you see the lightning bolt there, and it's very proud and arrogant slogan that says "Prove me wrong." And you see his base there, the primary group. And this is not to stir the pot in any way or insinuate anything, but there's a brother there's one right there, and poor thing. Maybe he's just getting paid, but at the same time, you probably shouldn't be there. But that's neither here nor there. But see, here it says being able to identify the symbols is an important skill for the upcoming months. So this group here put together this good list of far right symbols, some cameos from local Nazis, like the ones at House of Pain, formerly Tacktown. Tattoo. That's a crash course in far right symbols, and also you see the symbolism, that they use. All right, so this is a crash course in far right symbols by the American Iron Front. This is what they put up. This is their work. This is not my work. This is not any other Israelites' work. This is their work. This is what they do. This is what they push. Okay, that's right there. But they just kind of fancified it with the red, white, and blue to make it look like, oh, we are America. This is what they do. This is how they push what they push. They pushing a hard line. They say freedom and whatnot, but who's free in this country? When they're supposedly fighting for it. But how old is this country? How long have they been around? All right, so I'm gonna go to scripture here, but before I do, that's their main campaign logo that they had up on their website, and you see the lightning bolt right there. Yeah, so that's how they getting down, man. Just right in front of our faces. So do not be ignorant of Satan's devices. All right. Isaiah 14:1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. You see that? And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. In the book of Revelations, he who leadeth into captivity shall be led into captivity. So the so-called YT man, these Edomites, are going into captivity. And the devil has come down to us with great wrath, seeking whom he may devour and destroy. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. All right. We shall take up this proverb. We shall say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Because, Trump pushes this, make America great again. And then the golden era, the golden city. All right. But it says, how hath the oppressor ceased? All right. The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. And this is future prophecy in the book of Isaiah chapter 14. If you care to go and read, All right, so that's what that is. It says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth." All right, so this is the judgment coming down, upon Idumea, upon Edom, upon Babylon 2.0, upon Babylon, mystery Babylon, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. All right, this place is full of all manner of evil. And you have a lot of hypocrites. You have a lot of people who claim to be Christian but are actually anti-Christian, anti-Hamashiach. You know, they say one thing and they turn and do another. All right, so this is the times we're living in. This is a wicked and perverse time. Okay, and the spirits of vengeance, are coming upon this place for amendment. See, y'all like to talk Constitution and amendment, but guess who the grand or amender is? Guess who the author and finisher of the faith of Yasha Allah is? It's Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All right, and he will see to it that vengeance is done and that justice is done and righteousness is gone throughout the earth, in his time. All right. Yeah. This Isaiah 14 is very important to know. And speaking of that eagle, there's some precepts regarding the eagle symbology, and I don't want to forget about that, because the eagle symbology was also used in ancient Rome. Okay, so this is America is Rome 2.0, but we got to go back in history and find the eagle was used in that. So it is also written in the Apocrypha, right? In the book of Second Esdras. Esdras wrote about the eagle, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta find the scripture. Hold on, bear with me here. All right, so this is Second Esdras, verse 12. Second Esdras 12, verse 11. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. All right. But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore, now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. And the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another. So this is the symbol of the eagle. You see? So let's scroll down a little bit. So this is speaking on the eagle. Verse 23, in his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth, and of those that dwell therein with much oppression above all those that were before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle, for these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end. All right, you see, Rome 1, Babylon 1, and then Babylon and Rome 2.0, America, that melting pot where all these people's tongues, creeds, and nations are here is a melting pot, basically. And they're talking about one day, this one nation under God nonsense, No, there's no peace here in this land. It's only a continual struggle of oppression and wickedness and deceit by the hands of the so-called elites, man. Like Charlie Kirk, a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? The Lord said, behold, I send you forth as he's talking about Israel. He said, behold, I send you forth as sheep among wolves. So be therefore wise as serpents and gentle as doves, because the Lord already knew, this world, because Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. All things that were written aforetime before our learning, for our benefit, so we know what's what. And to have the spirit of discernment, we are all given a measure of faith, and we see what we see, because it is ordained from on high and predestined for us to know. Right? Those of us that's in this truth. All right. So with that being said, you got the symbology, you got the hypocrisy, you see, and hopefully this message has been edifying, because remember, though these other nations will go into captivity and basically be destroyed, the time of Jacob's trouble, the hopeful elect of Yashala, the 144,000 elect men of the Lord, hopefully elect, right? And the 1/3 part of Israel shall be saved out of it. All right. So with that being said, Abba, right? That means awaken, arise, Israel, the true Israel, not the ones over there with them curly fries on the side of their face. All right. All right. And I'm gonna say, Shalom to the hopefully elect, the 1/3 part. That's it. To the next one.